You're watching the Frye Show, brought to you by these fine sponsors. Grand Lake Roofing, Dollars TV, Family Audiology Associates, American Legion Post 323, Varsity Lanes, Outdoors Equipment Rental, Spring Street Storage, Mr. Banks, Plus One Professionals, Albert Sporting Goods.
You were renovating St. Mary's Foundry, Larry's Shop Auto Sales, Tap House at the Square, JSC, Cody Plumbing and Heating, Roots Pub, Dr. Mike Company, Guarneri's Pizzeria, DFW Post 9289, and Miller Funeral Home.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Bo Frye Show. I'm your host, Joe Hurlburt, alongside head coach Bo Frye. You're watching it here on Rider Nation Station. Glad to have you along. First of all, Coach, we wrapped up the regular season. Big win over the Bath Wildcats to conclude the season. And I'll tell you what, you have to be a lot happier with the way the season ended the second half than the way it started.
Yeah, I thought our kids really grew up throughout the season, and I thought our staff grew up. And I said, but we'll hug each other at the end when this thing's over. We're going to keep this thing going.
Well, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. But let's take a look around the league at some of the scores last week. Of course, we mentioned St. Mary's win over Bath, 31-0. The big game in the Western Buckeye League was for the Western Buckeye League title outright or a tie. Salina had the opportunity to win it outright if they won. If Wapak won, they would be co-champs with Salina. Wapakoneta really outplayed Salina and defeated them 30-3. Defiance defeated OG 14-10. Van Wert beat Elida 35-14. And Kenton defeated Shawnee 28-14. So here's how the Western Buckeye League ended up. Wapak and Salina tied at 8-1 for the Western Buckeye League title, and then there was Van Wert, Defiance, and St. Mary's, all with 6-3 marks, followed by Elida at 4-5, Bath is 3-6, as well was Kenton, OG 1-8, and Shawnee was winless 0-9 in league play. But nonetheless, the season is concluded, and we move on. St. Mary's gets to host a first-round game, and when we looked at this about 3 or 4 weeks ago, we found ourselves in the 15th or 16th spot, and with a couple of big wins over Elida, which pushed us to 11th. The win over Bath pushed us to 8th. And so we get a host, a first-round game. But before we get into what we're going to do as far as taking on Wauseon, let's take a look at the teams in the Western Buckeye League that are advancing in postseason play. There are seven teams. In Division III, Region 10, Defiance finished 9th in their region. In Division III, Region 12, Wapak was 5th. Salina was 6th. Elida was 13th, so all of them move on. And in Division 4, Region 14, along with St. Mary's, Van Wert, and Bath made it in. But here's the funny thing about Bath. They're the ones that have to make the long trip to Cleveland Glenville. Yeah. So we'll see how that all shakes out.
We were trying to make sure that didn't happen to us.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but when you talk about the brackets, and we have to worry about this week before we play next week, so we're not even going to talk about next week because we got the Wauseon Indians that are coming to St. Mary's. But first of all, let's take a look at some of the clips we did from the win over Wapak. This is our offense. This is Colton Mabry. Colton had a great game. He finished with over 1,000 yards rushing for the season. But against Bath, he had 23 rushes, 143 yards. 31 yards was his longest, 1 touchdown. He averages 6.2 yards per carry. And I tell you what, when you have a short and 10, whatever the case may be, second and 4, second and 7, makes it a lot easier on your offense. Yeah. But he just had a great season.
Colton is a great kid, 4.0 student, pushing for valedictorian of his class. So, talking about a great person, great kid, more than football, he's a great person.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Kevin Perry, we'll see on this next play. Kevin finished with 8 carries, 45 yards. His longest run was 14 yards, 5.6 yards per carry on the night.
Mm-hmm. Another great kid, that stuck with us. And, man, you see him just falling forward. The finish of those guys is really what's carrying us right now. As long as those guys continue to go forward, great things are going to happen.
One of the things, and let's talk about this, the time of possession was just unbelievable. St. Mary's controlled the ball 35 minutes and 11 seconds. Bath just 12 minutes and 23 seconds. But here's an interesting point. The Rough Riders had the football the entire first quarter. The reason being is Bath muffed a punt, but they still controlled it. You recovered it, You moved it on from there, but went the entire first quarter. And I think 13 minutes or something like that, 14 minutes before Logan Rush kicked a field goal.
Yeah, it was a long time, you know.
And I've asked a lot of people, have you ever seen a football team control the football for an entire quarter? And most of the people that I have discussed this with said no. This was the first time. And I'll tell you what, that's a credit to your offense, hanging onto the ball, picking up first downs when need be, and your offensive line just making holes and allowing your backs to move forward.
It's not always easy, though, because you got to be perfect when you're holding on to the ball
Absolutely.
that long. And people
Absolutely.
think you hold on the ball and run this old-school offense. You got to be pretty daggone good at doing it to
absolutely.
do that. Yeah.
Here's Cody Wallace. This was a different weapon. This was a different weapon altogether, and he did this twice. This is just like the quarterback boot, and he just pulls it down and takes off. And I'm not so sure if I'm a DB, I want to stand in front of him.
He's a big kid.
He's a big kid with a full head of steam.
Yeah, he's getting better. You know, the thing about Cody is that he stuck with us even when the opportunities weren't coming his way. And we talked a couple weeks ago, how can we get Cody more involved? And he's starting to get there. And if we can get him more involved, this offense
I
is
think
scary.
you get him on a boot. I think he can do some damage.
Yeah, for sure.
This next one is just a great second effort. I think this is Osborne.
Hitting a nice little sweep, cut back. This was right before halftime. I think there was only 2 possessions for us and 1 for them in the first half. So
Dominic also finished the year over 1,000 yards, so you got to be pleased with 2 running backs over 1,000 yards. Against Bath, 23 carries, 128 yards. His longest one was 10, which was probably that one there. He averaged 5.6 yards per carry as well.
Yeah, another great kid.
Absolutely.
And it does everything right.
There's another Cody Wallace play. I think this was another boot. Now this is a boot for the touchdown, I believe.
Yeah, I think there was like 10 seconds before half or something, and we said, hey, either throw that thing away or get in the end zone.
He said, I'll just take it myself.
He chose end zone, which I like that option better.
Yeah, that's a high percentage when you don't. This run here sets up a Rough Rider touchdown, I believe. This is in the second half.
Just running angry and running physical, man.
And he just throws people out of the way.
They're tough kids.
And that's due in part to your off-season weight training, I think,
100%.
don't you think?
Yeah, those guys have been in the weight room with us since they've been teens, or not, I guess we're still teens, but like pre-teens. I guess 14 years old. They're rolling in the weight room with us. So they're good kids.
That run there set up this Colton Mabry touchdown for the offense.
Yeah. Just great surge. And Colton, he could have walked
just
in.
good offensive blocking.
Doug Spencer could have ran that one in.
We'll give you the.
He probably would have marched it in.
without question. Let's take a look at some of the defense. We've got the defense played well. Gave Bath 137 yards of total offense. 109 of that, though, came through the air. But, I think Bath had some opportunities that they missed. I said the first play from the line of scrimmage, they had a good run or something like that, and when they had the ball, and then they had some drop balls. But nonetheless, they had opportunities. But the Riders' defense causes those missed opportunities.
Well, we play so hard over there. Yeah. That's a big thing. And Bath's offense was number 2 in the league in statistics. Yeah. So they're a pretty good offense. So
let's take a look at this first. This is just good hustle, I think, by Kevin Perry. This is their first possession, and this could have been a different outcome.
Yeah, they popped a big one on us right away there.
Kevin Perry comes out of nowhere and tried to swipe the ball out, but the Rough Riders were able to turn the ball away. This is the goal line stand. This is on that same possession. And this is big. This is a big defensive stand right here.
100%, yeah. If they would have got in here, it would have been, 7-3?
Something like that.
Beating us. Yeah, yep. So the kids would have been playing with a little more confidence. And this guy's playing hard, man. They're playing with a lot more confidence on defense right now.
And then I think from after that, I think St. Mary's marched at 99 yards, and I think they went down and scored as well. Yeah. So here's another nice stop by the defense.
Yeah, just guys getting to the ball. Is it Turner? Yeah, Turner's always involved. Yeah. You're talking about a motor, man. Whew. Yeah.
The average start for Bath's drives was about the 25-yard line, so really that was excellent special teams play because they started at their own 25.
Good kicks, good coverage on the kickoff.
Here's a sack by the defense.
Yeah, it's always good to see. I think that's Compton. Yeah. He's a 3-year starter for us, man. That kid's a good football player. We can't block him in practice. We struggle with him. Everyone's like, man, we got to block Compton today.
Yeah, and he's got a brother that's playing pretty well as well.
He's playing. He's a freshman, so that's good to see. Yeah.
Here's Noah Dixon.
It's almost Turner getting a sack there, and then Dixon making the pick. I think it's Dixon's first pick of the year, man. He's a gritty kid, man. Talking about a kid that, like, could barely walk and chew gum last year. You know? He had, like, a stanky leg. He finally grew into his body. So
here's something that the Rough Rider defensive ends have done well all year, and that's getting in the passing lane. This was a pass that was knocked down as well. And I don't know if it was almost picked off.
Yeah, by Mabry. Yeah, he got up, man. They got long arms, long bodies. We like to play those long defensive ends.
And, I think one of the things that you cannot coach is anticipation. You can't coach anticipation. So he has to anticipate when the quarterback's going to get ready and set to throw it, so he times his jump so that he can knock those down. So that was good. I think this is we snuck an offensive play in here.
Oh, geez, man. It's all good. I like offense.
Yeah, we snuck an offensive play in here.
Cody running the ball again, man.
He's going the other direction this time.
Got a late start there. If we could have got there, maybe we would have had 3,000-yard rushers,
Well, this is another quarterback sneak.
So hey, we played so much offense on Friday.
There we go.
Yeah, you know what? There wasn't enough time for the defense
That's probably it.
They only played 11 minutes of defense. I said, you defensive guys better be healthy and fresh here.
And I think this last one here that got snuck over on the defense was Caleb Schmidt.
Oh,
Caleb had a couple of touchdowns, I believe. And I tell you what, he's hard-nosed.
Schmidt, you like him. You'd like Schmidt if you hung out with him.
I like him just the way he plays.
Yeah, he's just always juiced up, and he's young. He's still learning the position and still growing into his body. He's only a sophomore.
Let's take a look at our special teams. We had some great kickoff return coverage, of course. We talked about it all season long. Your goal is to keep them inside the 30. But here's the punt. I think this is the punt. First of all, this isn't good the way it started.
Yeah, not at all.
That's
it's 2 weeks in a row. We've got to get fixed. But sometimes you just have to look up and thank God for some things that happen like this in the game.
And then all of a sudden, boom, we're right there. And that was it. That was in the first quarter.
First possession,
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? This is what, if I was a punter, and I did punt, that punt ended up 1 yard.
It did. Yeah.
That kind of blows the average a little bit.
But 2 weeks in a row got his average killed.
And Sprague was at one time leading the Western Buckeye League in punting. Yeah. But now last week with that Elida, that punt went 14 yards and this one went 1. So it drops him down in the middle of the pack. But I'll tell you what, he's got himself a leg.
He does, We didn't find him until mid-season.
He can be a weapon. So this one here is the I think this is the first points of the ball game.
Yeah, it was Rush making a field goal.
After the drive, was stopped. But
it's a good job by Rush keeping his head down, kicking through. And then they got a penalty because they jumped over the line, which is illegal.
Yeah.
So
then I got one more on the special teams. This is just special teams coverage on this one.
Yeah. This might have been later in the game. I thought our kickoff coverage was darn good on Friday. It starts with a good kick, trusting the kick, and then I think this was Makeley, freshman, that got down here and made this tackle, if it's the right one. Took Rush forever to kick it. Come on, Rush. Let's go, dude. This is Makeley, real good freshman linebacker.
Absolutely.
He getting downfield, hanging on for dear life. And kids
they
playing
start their drive at the 15-yard line. So
yeah.
That's pretty much wraps up the regular season for the Rough Riders. So again, you have to be pleased from how you ended, and sometimes it's not how you start; it's how you finish.
Yeah, it's anything in life.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to take a look at this week's opponent, the first round of the playoffs. The Wauseon Indians will come to Grand Lake Health Systems Field. We'll take a break. We'll come back and we'll talk about that contest right after this.
You're watching the Bo Frye Show. Brought to you by these fine sponsors. Grand Lake Roofing, Ballers TV, Family Audiology Associates, American Legion Post 323, Varsity Lanes, Outdoors Equipment Rental, Spring Street Storage, Mr. Bank, Plus One Professionals, Albert Sporting Goods.
She were renovating St. Mary's Foundry, Larry Chef Auto Sales, Tap House at the Square, TSC, Cody Plumbing and Heating, Roots Pub, Dr. Mike Company, Guarneri's Pizzeria, EFW Post 9289, and Miller Funeral Home.
Welcome back to the Bo Frye Show. I'm Joe Hurlburt alongside head coach Bo Frye. And first of all, Coach, again, congratulations on making it into the playoffs. Finished 8th in the region, and we host the game.
Yeah, we're trying to keep it going forward.
Well, the Wauseon Indians come to town. They come out of the Northwest Ohio Athletic League. Not real familiar with that type of conference. I think Patrick Henry's in there, and the teams like that.
Napoleon, Wauseon, Liberty Simmer, Bryan, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But they come in with a record of 6-5, very competitive in their conference. But I'll tell you what, when you look at some of the people, and I've looked at some of their stats, they've got a couple of kids that have put up some impressive numbers. They got a wide receiver by the name of Tyson Rodriguez, 49 receptions, 908 yards, 18.5 yards per catch, and 16 touchdowns on the season. So, and their quarterback, Trey Parsons, 114 attempts, 114 completions, 203 attempts, over 1,700 yards passing, 22 TDs, but more importantly, just 3 interceptions. So, pretty smart kid running the offense.
Yeah, he's a 2-year starter for him. Can sling it all over the place. Big arm. He can throw the deep ball, which is scary. We have to keep him in front of us. So,
compared to a team in the Western Buckeye League, you compare them most likely to who?
I think they're a mix. I think they have some defiance in them, skill like defiance. They got little gritty lineman wrestlers, wrestler type. They got a real good wrestling program, so their linemen are real gritty wrestling type kids on the defensive line and the offensive line. I'd say defiance. They look like a WBL football team.
Will you see any 4 receivers in the offense, like 3-1?
Yeah, so I guess they're running the ball a little more this year, though. They used to be a completely like Canton 5-wide spread, but they're running it more. They got a running back who's a pretty good runner, and they're pulling some guards, they're pulling some tackles, and they're running some run concepts, Van Wert-esque at times. So, but they are throwing it all over the place as well.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And on defense, they're led by Austin Kovar. He's also runs running back. He's also a linebacker, but he led the team and maybe the conference in tackles. 151 tackles. 5 of those tackles were for loss, but obviously he's got a bullseye on his back that will take care of him.
Yeah, he's got a motor. I thought their whole defense has a motor. They're playing an even front. They're playing an odd front. They're kicking their defense around. And they played a wing T team week 10 in Liberty Center, so we have kind of an idea on what they're going to play. But they're gritty. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a look at the Wauseon Indians. They'll be here on Friday. Of course, Rider Nation Station will follow the Rough Riders as far as they go. And hopefully it'll be to the end.
Forever.
You think forever.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you again for joining me. Good luck on Friday night against the Wauseon Indians. And hopefully we'll be back here next week.
It's playing.
All right. Until then, for Bo Frye, I'm Joe Hurlburt for Rider Nation Station. Until next week, so long, everyone.
Thank you for watching the Bo Frye Show, brought to you by these fine sponsors. Grand Lake Roofing, Dollars TV, Family Audiology Associates, American Legion Post 323, Varsity Land, Douglas Equipment Rental, Spring Street Storage, Mr. Bank, Plus One Professionals, Albert Sporting Goods.
She were renovating St. Mary's Foundry, Larry Chef Auto Sales, Tap House at the Square, TSC, Cody Plumbing and Heating, Roots Pub, Dr. Mike Company, Guarneri's Pizzeria, EFW Post 9289, and Miller Funeral Home.